how's it going, everyone, and welcome back to the show. And today we're going to have our 100 subscribers special, which is really nice. Of course, I'm not at 100 subscribers yet. I'm just filming this in advance, and well, I'm pretty gone, to be honest. But that's always a thing. But today I'm going to be talking about something you probably didn't expect. That I'm going to be talking about the time I went to prison. Now, I didn't go to prison for what you would usually expect people to go to prison for, and I'm going to get into detail on this. So, the prison I went to is called Oceans. It's one of the worst places by far, I have to say, and I was over there for about 10 days. So how this happened, some of y'all might know, I have tended to have problems such as depression for a long time. I haven't been doing well in different ways on like in my personal life. That I've had a lot of problems. And about 2 years ago when I was 18, I happened to be going through a bad time in my life. I was not doing that well, and I would tend to get drunk often. So at that point in my life, I got run over by a car when things were already not going too well for me. I already wasn't doing that well mentally. I had to stay in a wheelchair for a while. I was still on crutches, actually. I was not even supposed to be walking. But basically what happened that night, I was pretty drunk and things weren't really going well for me, and I did the thing that you should never ever do if you're in such a situation. I went and expressed my feelings, expressed what was happening. So I went and tried to find a friend online, and I told them basically that something along the lines of I'm not going well, things aren't doing well, and I don't think they're going to get better. Now, for some reason, this person sort of took that as me saying that I was suicidal and that I might kill myself. Now, that was never the case. I was never suicidal, but I guess my friend sort of got scared for me and they called the cops. And when the cops came here, they realized that, well, I had been drinking. So the ambulance at that point, they told me, you're gonna have to come with us. So I told them, by the way, I am not suicidal. This was misinterpreted. I definitely do not want to kill myself. I'm definitely not gonna do that, but I don't want to come with you because there's no reason for me to go over there. It's not even like I'm suicidal. So at that point, they just told me, well, you know what, we're three people, we all have guns, and we're all stronger than you, and on top of that, you're drunk, so either you're going to come with us, either you follow us inside this ambulance, or we'll wrestle you to the ground. So that's what I did, of course. I complied. I wasn't going to argue with them. I was never going to try to argue with them, but as soon as they said that, obviously, I went. So they handcuffed me to the back of the ambulance. Apparently, the handcuffs were to make sure that I wouldn't harm myself or anyone else. But yeah, they told me, look, dude, I'm stronger than you. I don't feel like arguing with you. You either come over here, you either come with us to this place and we'll hold you there indefinitely, or we'll just wrestle you to the ground and you're going to come with us anyway. So this is known as kidnapping. In fact, I wasn't a danger to anyone else, and as I found out over there pretty quickly, the staff, they would tell us, yeah, there's pretty much no one who was brought to this place for being a potential danger to anyone else. It's all being a potential danger to yourself, to which I would say, well, isn't your life your body? Shouldn't you get to decide what you want to do with yourself? The government doesn't own you. They shouldn't get to just fucking take you because they don't like what you are doing to yourself. And that's obviously what I told the cops. I told them, well, I'm 18, don't I have the right to, well, stay here if I say no? And yeah, they just told me, either you come, we're gonna just wrestle you to the ground. So of course that's what I did. So I was in the ambulance and I went over there. Now, when I was over there, I saw some pretty horrible thing. One thing you might notice, this place is supposed to help you. It's supposed to be, what's it called, a rehab. It's more or less rehab. And, well, they sort of forced me over there, and what do you know? As soon as I got over there, I found out that they didn't really like people, especially the disabled. They didn't really like their patients. They didn't treat them with any respect. Usually they would just clap at them to call them. Just, hey, was like, they didn't really respect any of us. Now, we weren't allowed to do drugs in there, and supposedly it was a bunch of these people were on drugs and they were yeah, that's supposed to. This place was apparently supposed to get people to be able to just cure and get over either their drug addiction problem, either suicidal thoughts. Now, big surprise. I mean, not a big surprise. Yeah, guess what? Didn't really work, did it? As soon as I got out, I started doing even more drugs than I was before because the place was absolutely horrible. They treated people absolutely horribly over there. I saw the staff beat schizophrenic people to the ground because they were annoyed by them. There was, like, the first day I came in, there was a lady with Alzheimer's who wasn't sure where she was. There was a lot of things like that, and yeah, they would, uh, like at some point they were bringing the tray, which by the way we were heavily rationed. We had very little food to eat. They didn't bring us a lot of food. We were heavily rationed, and if anybody ever didn't want their food, we weren't allowed to like take it. They would just throw it away, even if we were hungry. I mean, we were rationed over there. There was a lot of things wrong with that place. It was pretty much like a third world country. To be, it looked like a shithole. Like, we were rationed that hot water didn't work with cold water. The water fountains wouldn't work with zero privacy. The bathroom, they didn't even have a door. We didn't even have a door to go to the bathroom. There were nicotine patches just all over it. Just picture, when you see those merchandise trains going by you, they usually have a lot of graffiti. Well, it was the same over there with nicotine patches. You'd see all over the walls. They'd just be covered with them because apparently they just gift them to whoever the fuck. So yeah, the place was just littered. There was no hot water. The staff treated you like shit. They would randomly just love going and just shit talking people with severe disabilities. They would just love doing that because like most of the schizophrenic people usually irritated them, and they just had absolutely no they didn't have any patience, any of that. They didn't care about these people, to be honest. But honestly, I like over there. I went there and I saw all these things. It was the most horrible place. Wasn't the place supposed to be designed to get you away from drugs? Well, there was nothing to do over there. Not like they would actually teach you to, I don't know, get fucking occupy you with things that are better than doing drugs. Actually, one of the only things we got to do would be to watch movies. Now, what movies would they play? Well, mostly movies that'd be glorifying drugs, actually. That's pretty much all we watch, where the main character would just constantly be high, constantly be on drugs, constantly be on this and that. That's pretty much everything that we would watch, right? Okay, so yeah, it was pretty bad. In fact, the place was so horrible that one of the people who was brought over there, I don't know, he had trouble speaking, I don't know what was wrong with him, if he had just had a stroke or something, but since everybody was constantly fighting, usually it'd be the staff just getting irritated by the schizophrenic people who just wouldn't shut the fuck up about random stuff, so they would just attack them and tackle them to the ground. Between all these people just yelling and fighting and just doing all that, that person who, he was an elderly man. He spent the first 2 days just on a chair shivering and crying. And, we would all go past him and people just be fighting. Now, it was a horrible place. We had nowhere to go. It was worse than prison. Now, what type of great punishment to have for needing help? The absolute last day, the furthest you could get from help. What help would you get? Well, probably getting beaten if you were schizophrenic. Thank God I didn't have a bad enough disability. But some of the people who were there, it's why the hell were they even there? For example, the next person who I'm actually pretty good friends with now, apparently she just got in a car crash. She wasn't even driving the car, and yeah, the car crashed, and she was pretty drunk. And from there, they just deduced, oh well, maybe she was drunk in the car because she wanted to kill herself, even though she wasn't fucking driving. But apparently that's the story, and she was completely normal. Now, most of the people over there weren't completely normal. Most of them had some mental disorders. That's why the staff would usually beat them. But like, it was so clear that the place was completely a sham. It was not like you could actually talk to the staff about what your problems are to hopefully like get better. Like they hired staff who was supposed to be able to like talk to them about any problems you have, like counselors. But who on earth is going to trust someone who just kidnapped them, who was just holding them hostage in a place full of people who they are beating for having more severe mental disabilities? Like, the place was horrible. They treated people just absolutely horribly. Most of them, they were just mentally disabled, and they wouldn't get the cues of that, the fact that the staff was starting to get annoyed. Like, they would just start speaking more, and then the staff would get more aggressive towards them, start shit talking them more, and they'd be like just confused. Wait, aren't you supposed to help me? Why are you shit talking me? Why are you tell me that I'm a stupid bitch who just smells like shit? I mean, dude, aren't you supposed to help me? And it's like they would literally admit to it. Like, one of the staff members at some point admitted to me, yeah, like, you are better off if you want to leave earlier. You'd be better off just keeping any problems you have, any issues. Yeah, just keep that to yourself, because anything you might tell them that would insinuate that you're not doing well, they'll just hold you for longer. And apparently they were allowed to hold you up to 15 days. Now, they would hold some people. Thank God they can't hold people for longer than that. Apparently, there was one of the people who came later who was diabetic. They just fed him rice. Apparently, you're not supposed to feed diabetic people rice. Like, he told them about that. But, like, here's basically what they would do, okay? They would bring you over here. They would kidnap you first. And then they would tell you that they brought you here for your own good. You're going to have to pay for that, of course, which they did fine me for that. Not only did they kidnap me, but then they sent me a bill, and I had to pay for it. So I had to pay for these people kidnapping me. Talking about trying to get people to get better. You think if they're in debt, they're going to be able to get better? So, yeah, these people, they just tell you, yeah, over here, this is the place, like, we're gonna help you. And then you see them just beating schizophrenic people to the ground, legit just treating patients like, just like fucking, just like filth, just clapping at them to call them, hey, yo, get the fuck over here. They would tell you that it's, oh yeah, like, we're gonna, like, get you off of any drug addictions you have. Oh yeah, we're gonna, like, you're here to fucking cure from that. Yeah, legit, all the movies just all over glorifying drugs. And to be honest, the funny thing is, like, that place would probably have been a better place to get drugs than off of the streets. Like, I met over there more people who would be selling drugs than like I would ever have met, like, in my personal life without going over there. So yeah, now you weren't allowed to write anything, or, like, have writing utensils in your room while you were over there. But, like, yeah, since I didn't have a lot to do, there was absolutely nothing to do other than just look out the window and just constantly hearing just people yelling and banging on each other. Like, legit, it was that bad. This is why the guy, who was like an elderly man, that's why he spent just 2 days straight just on a chair, just shivering and crying. Because anytime, like, from the morning when you'd wake up to the evening, like, you'd be hearing somebody start to yell, then you'd hear banging, and it's like, they're just fucking fighting. Like, yeah, alright, that's probably gonna help you get better, to constantly be hearing that, to think, oh yeah, this might be, like, this person who I care about. And, like, actually, my roommate, when I went over there, I had a roommate, and he actually paid to get over here. Like, he thought it would help him get better, so he wasn't kidnapped. He actually decided to pay for it. Well, to be honest, I paid for it too. I just didn't get a choice. But, yeah, after 2 days, after 2 days, he just couldn't stand being there anymore. Within the first, like, I don't know, 24 hours, like, he was demanding to get to leave, and they wouldn't let him, and he had to stay there for an additional like 4 to 5 days at least, before they let him go. Yeah, immediately as soon as he came and he realized what he had paid for, he just couldn't wait to leave because the place was horrible. It was like it was just like they would just torture fucking mentally disabled people. They would do the worst things, and like really the big conclusion to get from this, the big message that spreads is that if someone is suicidal, if someone really needs to get help, you can't really tell them to go get help because honestly, this is sort of how we treat people with suicidal tendencies or people who seem to have them. This happened to me, something similar happened to me in 12th grade. I was also not doing very well, and I believe I was just on a binge of my prescription medication. I'd not been doing well for a long time, and I set myself the Christmas break. I was thinking over the Christmas break, I'll make sure to get myself better, get my shit together, get my life back on track. And by the end of the Christmas break, I realized that I hadn't been able to do that, and like I just sort of broke down and went on a binge of my prescription pills, and I started like I was just desperate to find advice from anybody because that's sort of the thing. Once you get depression and you get worse and worse, people are only there for you when you don't need them. Remember that. That's important. People will always be there when you don't need them. Once you start needing them, they fucking leave. And that's something that you realize when you have suicidal tendencies, is that now I haven't ever really had suicidal tendencies, but I've been really depressed, and I don't know, that's probably also a thing for drug addicts, who knows. Like the only thing I really do is like weed and alcohol, but like yeah, clearly the message is do not get help, do not tell anybody to go get help, because the help that is provided back in high school when I did this, I was doing really bad, and that sort of ended with me just trying to email one of my favorite content creator. His name is Ivan B. He's a music influencer who has really inspired me throughout the years, and I sort of wrote an email to him, sort of breaking down it, trying to like ask him if he had any advice, trying to like, and it was really a heartfelt thing. It was very personal. It was definitely not something I would ever have wanted to have been leaked, but to find his email, I went through Instagram. I got onto my Instagram thing, and I found him on Instagram, and I found his email through there. Now, for some reason, whenever I clicked on his email and clicked on compose, it sort of just automatically set it to send my email from my school email. So, like, I hadn't noticed that, but yeah, I sort of had an email just breaking down, trying to say, I don't think I'm going to get better. Do you have any, like, please, to say something. What can I do? What do I make of all this? Where do I go from here? And, well, I pretty much wrote that to somebody who, like, I should have known would never even see it. It was absolutely stupid, but yeah, I was just on a binge. I wasn't doing well back then, and well, guess what? As soon as I came back from the vacation, as soon as I went to school, they pulled me out of school during my first period class. The counselor pulled me out of school, and they brought me to the office where there were 3 police officers standing there who were there to search me and make sure that I didn't have a weapon on me to harm myself or anybody else. Now, after they did that, they started asking me very uncomfortable questions about all of this, about what I had written, and they actually just told me, yeah, this is why you're here. We have this, and they read me out the whole thing. It was a very personal thing. It was that really made me uncomfortable to have them reading that, and they told me, they tried to just take some stuff I had written out of context, literally hold anything against me. I was talking about how, like, at some point, like, my mother, back in the day, when I was a little kid, she would tend to not be doing well and just like have a mental breakdown and just go off on me, just start just yeah, I was pretty much giving that as a backstory to why my family and friends, most of the people over there hated me, and that sort of played in a big part into why I wasn't doing that well. I like basically when I was like 12, 13, I got in a car wreck in Mexico, and the people who came to bring me back home from there, because like yeah, I got in a car wreck in Mexico. I don't have citizenship there. I was just visiting because my mother loves to travel. Well, my mother got in the coma over that. She was really not doing well. So my aunt and my grandmother actually came to bring me home, and like both of them absolutely hated me. In fact, they spent all the time that I was with them trying to convince me that the accident was my fault, and I sort of believed them to some extent. But yeah, having to spend a year in France with people who absolutely hated me, I was just giving some context to that. And basically, yeah, my mother, back when I was like really a small child, she would tend to, like, I guess it was stress from work, but like, she would be nice, she would be caring, but randomly, like, at every, like, rare occasions, but it would happen, she would just snap and have a mental breakdown and get really mad. And, like, usually what she'd do after that, she would just call the family and just start just breaking down about how I'm ruining her life and stuff. And I guess that's probably where like where my family started hating me so much. Like I had ADHD. I was very fucking hard to handle as a kid, like as a very little kid. So I definitely get it to some extent. But like yeah, I was talking about that, and the counselors, they tried to take that and try to say, oh, maybe we should take you out of your parents' guard. Maybe we should like not allow you to be with your parents anymore. And yeah, basically what they told me, which is basically the same thing that they had told me back in ninth grade in the same high school when I was trying to reach out for help then, because I had problems. What they told me in ninth grade is, well, you know what, you came to the perfect place. I'm very glad that you came to me for your fucking for your mental health issues. Now you know what, if we ever hear anything from you again about you having problems, you're gonna be fucking locked up. So yeah, better not hear anything like that from you again. And of course they said that in a polite manner. And that's the same thing they did in 12th grade, except that they had guns, because there were police officers who were searching me to make sure that I wasn't a potential danger to them. So, yeah, two occasions, ninth grade, 12th grade. In 12th grade, I legit had to fill out a whole thing, and they told me, yeah, depending on, how you fill this out, like, depending on, what you write for the responses this this fucking survey, we are or aren't going to lock you up and take you away from your parents. And then they told me, yeah, now your whole very personal thing that was really like heartfelt, all that was really personal, was really a private thing that you wouldn't want. Yeah, we're gonna have to read that all to your mother. In fact, we're gonna do that. So that's what they did, and well, here I was just, like, what, 2 years later, maybe, getting kidnapped by a place called Oceans, and, having them bring me over there to just show me how well they take care of those that need help the most. And the sad lesson, again, to pull from this, is that given this is how they try to help people in need, given this is how they try to help those with suicidal tendencies, I honestly think it's immoral to, like, to, what's it called? I honestly think it's immoral to advise someone to go get help, because this is the help they're going to get. They're going to be kidnapped. They're going to be put in a place where there's just a lot of violence. Everybody's constantly beating each other up, so much so that, like, some people who go there actually just start to cry. see them just mistreat people with, say, Alzheimer's. That, like, the first lady, who, like, the lady who was sort of there when I arrived, she had Alzheimer's, and the staff would be super aggressive towards her. Like, they were just bringing the tray of our rations, like, of our food, and that lady was with Alzheimer's. She thought there was a baby in the tray for some reason, and she thought it was going to fall. So she was like, "Dude, don't let the baby fall. Don't." And yeah, she like the lady legit just like threw her off to the side and told her to go fuck herself. And yeah, they would usually just insult, demonize, literally demonize people with mental disorders. They would start fights with them, and really thank God when I was over there. Like, I was one of the people who didn't really belong there. I don't think anyone belongs there. I think kidnapping people is wrong, period. But yeah, thank God I wasn't one of these people who like was really disabled, because I would probably have had a much harsher experience. But what I did over there, you weren't actually allowed to have writing utensils. You didn't have anything, but yeah, you would just get to be able to. They would sort of. You would be in your room, you know, like your room take I don't know, let's say a 3 meters by 3 meters wide room. That's where I was, and that's where I was allowed to be for yeah, like 10 days. That's all you get. You get to stay out your window. That's the only. And yeah, for like maybe an hour a day, if even, they would allow you to go outside in this little place again, maybe like 3 yards by 3 yards or 3 meters by 3 meters, and you would just get to go outside and just be over there. And honestly, one thing I found really surprising is that I honestly think in those facilities, like it helps you more to actually talk with your fellow inmates who are there. Like they actually can help you more than any of the staff who are supposed to be assigned doing that as their job. Like, talking to them, people you could actually trust, because they weren't the ones kidnapping you. They actually were much better to like to have someone to talk to. They did a much better job at that than the people actually who were actually hired to do that. So what I did over there, since I had nothing else, I just made a list of stuff with that paper that they had. I did a lot of origami, but I made a big list of just everything that was just super wrong with this place, and it's honestly 5 pages long. You would have known. So I'm just going to read some of these out, and let me just go from start to finish, and then I will just conclude that. So, rations. Yeah, we had rations in a place that is supposed to help us get mentally better. Yeah, we didn't have drugs other than nicotine patches, which was spread all over the walls. Yeah, we didn't have that. But we didn't have a lot of food either. Actually, we didn't have a lot of water. In fact, if you wanted to drink water, they would tell you to drink water out of the drain. They wouldn't have, like, they didn't have fresh water. They would just open the thing. Oh yeah, just drink out of the faucet. Yeah, just take a glass of water and just yeah, like the dude, I'm so fucking drunk. I don't know how to speak. Yeah, like just yeah, like go to the drain and get some water. That fucking sucked ass. Dude, I need to shut the fuck up. I'm getting so drunk. Yeah, they would constantly be screaming. Like, you could not have a single moment of peace. Again, that's why some of these people were really scared. But yeah, you, like, every fucking 5 minutes, it wouldn't stop. You would just hear some people start yelling at each other, then you would hear them start beating each other to shit. And, yeah, usually, yeah, when this staff, like, when there was a schizophrenic person, for instance, who they had a problem with, who they were starting to, like, pick their fight with, like, they would just wrestle them to the ground, then they would just pick them up and carry them into their room and lock them in there. Like sometimes they would also just inject them with I don't know, apparently it was ketamine or something to make them sort of fall asleep and neutralize them or whatever. But like these people weren't even aggressive. Like that was saying, okay, yeah, of course, there was nothing to do. They would threaten you all the time. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, the sentence was never given clearly. They would bring you over there and they would tell you if you do well, if you attend the group stuff, actually, which, yeah, was pretty boring. Like, maybe, like once every day, usually they'd be supposed to have some activity thing, which like, dude, it'd be pretty much like kid shit. Like, you get to throw, like, what's it called? There's just different bars, and you get to throw this little thing and try to hit it on the bar and stuff. And it was just cancer, dude. No one fucking cares about that shit. Yeah, and, overall, you were punished with imprisonment for needing help. Imagine that. Imagine that being the message you give, because the message is very clear. Again, let me say this very clearly. Like, people who have, like, suicidal tendencies, the best advice you should get to give them is go get help, because that's obviously the best thing that you could do for them. But clearly, with such a scenario, like, this puts people in a situation where no, you absolutely shouldn't tell people to go get help if they're suicidal. You should tell them to absolutely keep that to themselves and themselves only under all circumstances. Never to share that, because the people who claim that they want to help you do the exact opposite. They make you go financially bankrupt, and they put you in a place that is just absolute poison. They just put you pretty much in a hellish place. For violent people, mostly the staff, and they make you have to endure watching the staff abuse the mentally disabled, which was absolutely horrible. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention, I was actually on crutches when I was over there. I had just had an accident, like I had been hit by a car. Now this was pretty bad. I had to have heart surgery. I had an aneurysm in the aorta, and my right leg, I actually have a rod in my right leg now. I had a double fracture in my left leg, one of my lungs was punctured. There was a lot of things, right? Like, it was pretty fucking bad. But, yeah, I was in a wheelchair for the majority of the time. I had to be in bed, for, like, a few months after that. I couldn't get up. And that's sort of what, led me sort of towards drinking, because that's, well, definitely one thing there was to do. But, yeah, I was still supposed to be on crutches when I went over there. But, yeah, they told me when the police arrived at my house, they sort of brought me. They brought me along with my crutches. And when I arrived at the place, they told me that I wasn't allowed to have crutches. Now, to be fair, they did give me the alternative to be in a wheelchair, but honestly, with just how imprisoned I already felt being over there, especially not knowing how long my sentence was, just not knowing how long I would be there, and quickly finding out this place is hell. Like, they just torture people with mental disorders here. There's nicotine patches just littering the fucking walls. You just hear people screaming, usually because they're being beaten by the staff. Like, everybody hated the place. Legit, like, I remember, great quote, from the person who actually paid to be there. You're paid to care, so care. Again, it's the person who paid to be there, and, most of us didn't pay to be there, but we still had to be there. So, yeah, I was supposed to be on crutches, and I couldn't really walk well. Like, if I wasn't on crutches, I would limp, because my foot was broken. My right foot, I had just broken my right foot being fucking retarded LMAO. Basically, I did a backflip off of something, because I thought, you know what, my right leg is, like, not broken enough. Yeah, dude, I'm so drunk. I forgot the stuff. Yeah, I had gotten off of, like, I had mostly gotten off of crutches, but then I broke my foot. And, like, that I really needed crutches again because my foot was broken, and in fact it's like 2 years later my right foot is still like really swollen. And yeah, actually over there they sort of warned me that that would happen. They told me, no, use a wheelchair, dude. But yeah, like so they didn't allow me to have my crutches. They told me, no, you can't have that. If you want some, you can have this like gay ass wheelchair that someone literally had to push you. Like, if I remember well, someone legit had to push you to be. But yeah, I already felt so imprisoned. I was like, no, I will not have a wheelchair. If I can't have my crutches, I'll just limp. So yeah, I would just limp all over the place. I really hurt my foot a lot by doing that. Like, apparently, like, guess what? My right foot is still like so swollen. It's like twice the size of my left foot because yeah, I just for 10 days I sort of had to walk on it even though it was broken because they wouldn't allow me to have crutches. So what the fuck are you gonna do? So yeah, I sort of have my reservations for them for that. Well, honestly, who really cares? Like, they kidnapped people. They didn't allow me to use crutches. It's like, yeah, they handcuffed me to the back of the car. Yeah, great way to just show people. You'd imagine if you're going to try getting people and you're going to try to like put on the face of I'm trying to help you. Maybe you don't handcuff them to the back of an ambulance to bring them to your place. Maybe when they tell you, hey, I'm 18, by the way, don't, like, am I not a free citizen? Don't I have the right to not be here? Maybe you don't tell them, hey, bitch, I'm stronger than you, and I'm also not drunk, and I have a gun, so either you're going to comply or I'm going to fucking wrestle you, end of story. Maybe that's not how you approach it, who knows? What? Oh, dude, fucking hell, yeah, the fucking toilets wouldn't work. They didn't even have a plunger, like a plunging thing. So yeah, like if the toilet sort of got over flooded, yeah, you just couldn't use the bathroom. Sucked for you, dude. Great fucking shit. Yeah, I think that's definitely gonna help people. As I mentioned, no hot water. You had cold showers. Yeah, it place looks like hell. Designed to feel trapped. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, you weren't allowed to have writing utensils in your room. By the way, I wrote all of this with crayons. By the way, when I was in the main room, you know, the room where there'd be movies constantly playing over just glorifying drugs. Pretty hypocritical for a place that's supposed to get you off of drugs, right? Jesus Christ. What else? Yeah, it was honestly better than going to the streets for finding fucking drugs. Like, I had never been in a place just so full of people who had done so many more drugs than pretty much anyone who had ever met. Let's see, what the hell is that? The controlling. Dude, I have no fucking clue what that says. My handwriting's fuck. Oh yeah, like at some point, dude, the nicotine patches they were just so all over the place that like by sleeping, I had sort of gone like I know I had gone like two or three that were sort of attached to one another. I'd gone them onto me. Now they sort of warned us, yeah, if you're gonna get nicotine patches, you're supposed to take them off before you go to sleep. And like somehow the place was just so riddled with them that I got some stuck on me, and in the middle of the night I just had a fucking nightmare. So yeah, like they sort of told you take them off before you go to sleep. Like yeah, so I don't know why I even wrote that. It's not really that's sort of my bad to be honest. Let me see what else. What else did I forget to mention here? There were actually a lot of people who I met who were just really interesting people. There was some guy who was, yeah, obviously had a problem. He would keep talking about how he would talk about really random stuff. Like he told someone that he got shot in the head or something. dude, he'd go on just so many tangents, dude. I could make a whole video on like 3 or 4 different people who I met over there. They're just such characters. Honestly, the only good thing about this place was some of the people I've met. They was really great. Obviously, yeah, you can't shave in that place. They didn't have a gym. I sort of think, no, that's not a petty point to bring up. Why don't you have a gym, in fact? Like, in a place, obviously, I wouldn't have been able to use it. I mean, I was handicapped. I had a broken foot, and I wasn't allowed to have fucking crutches, so it's not like I would have been able to lift weights. But, like, in a place that's designed to supposedly help you get better, wouldn't that be, like, one of the first things to improve your mental health? Instead of just showing you a bunch of movies that over-glorify drugs while just having this like these schizophrenic people in the corner were just being beaten by the staff and yelling. Maybe, I don't know, have a gym? Or maybe have that type of stuff? Maybe not just have nicotine patches all over the fucking walls while the staff are just threatening you. Maybe that's a good idea. Fight happening as I write this. Of fucking course. Yeah, fights were always happening. Let's see. Oh yeah, there was some old fucking ladies hitting on ya. Dude, I know that I'm definitely not fucking attractive. To be honest, Nick Fuentes gets more girls than me, and he's gay. But yeah, that was pretty fucking funny over there. That's like probably the only chance I would ever have gotten to get a girl. Unfortunately, most of the people who were hitting on me over there were like 60 or something, like 50, 60. So. I'm sorry, not interested in them. Dude, I'm getting really off topic, aren't I should stop drinking. In fact, you know what, let me take this next shot. Actually, let me do that. Yeah, that was a pussy shot. Let me take some of that, actually. Absolute golden fucking video I'm making here, by the way. Oh yeah, I didn't take my shot yet. Okay, so. Okay, yeah, that was sort of a petty thing to put down when you consider everything else that's on this list. Yeah, our clothes. Basically, we had prison clothes. Yeah, we did have prison clothes with orange clothes, and they were made out of paper. Our pants and our t-shirts were made out of paper, and yeah, we like it was some type of paper that would be able to like go in the washing machine. So yeah, like we just have our clothes washed, and then they weren't even folded. We were supposed to fold them. They just sort of throw them back at us once they'd be done cleaning it. They could have fucking folded it, dude. Who knows? Maybe, but it's not like these people had any respect for the people who they were supposedly supposed to help. They never had any of that. Wait, no. Dude, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Dude, I'm literally, making a video reading shit off a paper. This is very sad. Oh, and it's my 100 sub special. Yep, here's more therapeutic than staff would be to talk to. If that were an option, to have an honest talk with them and not get punished for it. Great way to phrase that, because, yeah, the staff literally admitted they would tell you, yeah, if you have personal problems, like, if, say, suicidal tendencies, yeah, if you want to get out of here sooner, which you probably do if you care about your own mental health, yeah, just keep that to yourself, buddy. It's just better, because anything you tell the staff that might hint to you having a problem and you not already having healed from being in there, yeah, like, they would constantly come and ask you, hey, are you feeling better? Are you doing better? Is this place helping you at all? And, yeah, like, some of the staff, they actually admitted, yeah, we're asking you these questions, and, like, based on your answer, we're going to keep you here longer or not. So, yeah, if you really want to, like, get better and be out of here as soon as possible, so that, like, you just, so that your mental health is just fucked over as little as possible, yeah, you're better off just not talking to us. Just keep that to yourself. At least they were honest about that, so I do appreciate that, I fucking guess. Yeah, what else? What else was there? Dude, honestly, I don't know if I wrote this down, but, yeah, like, pretty much what they would do, uh, since they sort of had to get something to say, oh yeah, we're helping these people, they would just give everybody just a bunch of pills. Like, normally I'd just be prescribed my ADHD medication, which, they didn't give you that. And I was prescribed that, and I was prescribed my antidepressant, which I never fucking took. Like, I tried taking them. Basically, dude, antidepressants, like, clearly they aren't developed enough to be able to fully work. Now, apparently you're supposed to do them along with therapy, that's for the best thing, but, one thing that is a clear tell that, antidepressant drugs, they clearly need to be studied more. It's not like, I don't know, insulin for, type 1 diabetes. Like, just take it and you will start, like, it'll cure you, whatever the fuck it does. Yeah, antidepressants with depression, a clear tell that they're definitely just sort of a prototype, not, like, not perfect, not perfected, is apparently the majority of these antidepressants, they don't combine well with alcohol. Like, you could have, like, it is dangerous to combine them with alcohol. Now, you could imagine, yeah, that's a fair thing because, well, most drugs sort of are like that. But hold on a second, isn't drinking sort of something that people specifically with depression tend to go to because of depression? Isn't that sort of a thing that people who are depressed tend to go towards? Like, isn't that sort of a big flaw in a medication you have for it to be just incompatible and dangerous to combine with a substance that people tend to usually go towards to fix the issue that the medication is prescribed to fix? It's like, that's sort of insane. But yeah, I tried the antidepressants, I looked them up, apparently they're supposed to take like up to a month to maybe a month and a half to work, and I tried a bunch of different ones. And like at some point, I would just be prescribed like, I know, like I was prescribed pretty much the highest dose, or like half the highest dose, like 50 milligrams to 100 milligrams, and like I was just tired of trying that. So I'd been on it for like 2 months, didn't do anything. So yeah, for like, I don't know, another 2 months, I just saved up my stuff. I didn't take any of my antidepressants. Nothing changed, by the way, absolutely nothing. And then I started taking for, I saved up for like 2 months, and for the third month, I just took 3 times the dose that was prescribed to me, and it didn't do anything. So I got a clear cut. Yeah, this doesn't help. But yeah, when I went over there, they would just drain you with pills. Like, I went over there, and for some reason they prescribed me like 4 or 5 different fucking pills for when I was never prescribed any of them before, and in fact I didn't continue taking any of them after I left. Some people, like most people, had like 10 pills. Literally everyone over there was prescribed pills, and the funny thing is, like, a lot of these people, talking like a good like 4 or 5 that I knew over there, they were brought here for just the stupidest reasons. Like I said, this girl who I'm pretty good friends with, she could tell you everything that I've said in this video is true. Like, yeah, she was just absolutely normal person, just having a blast with her friends, and her, like, she was just in the car with one of her friends. I guess she had been partying and she was drunk, and like she just got in a car wreck, and she sort of woke up like in this place, and she was like, what, why the hell am I here? And they just told her, well, apparently you'd been drinking, and like you were in a car, and like, and your parents apparently called us just saying that they thought maybe you might want to kill yourself. And apparently, yeah, her parents, not the most reliable source of information to get certain such stuff, very paranoid. But it's like, yeah, most of the people were just normal people who really didn't belong there, whether or not it was by choice, and we were all just thrown on just so much medication for no fucking reason. So that's sort of how they got away with it. That's sort of how they put implemented. We're helping them. Look, we're doing something. So they just gave you a bunch of drugs that actually didn't do anything. In fact, at least to me. But yeah, everyone over there they tell me the fuck, like I never took any fucking drugs, like I not even prescribed any drugs, and all of a sudden I'm just over it and they just put me on like 5 different drugs, and it's like, what the hell is this? That was the case for pretty much everybody. Everybody who went here, they pretty much didn't have any like prescriptions for anything until they got over there, and yeah, they just sort of so how they would do that, how they, I guess how they formulate the narrative of, look, we're helping people, we're definitely doing stuff, look at us. So they would just kidnap you, they would force you to be over there, and they would tell you, we're keeping you over here for an indefinite amount of time, and they would be pretty explicit about it. Look, if you tell us that you're not doing well, if you share your concerns with us, talk to us about your problems, you're actually better off not doing that, because yeah, we're just gonna keep you longer for it, and you sort of know what that means. You just get to keep hearing, you just get to keep being locked up in a little isolated, like 3 yards by 3 yards room that you'll be in for just even more days, while you just hear outside your door some people just yelling while they're getting beaten up, and you just get this, I don't know, stare out the window, maybe stare at the nicotine patches on the wall, and you don't even know how long it's gonna take. So, yeah, you're better off just telling us that, yeah, you're doing a lot better from being here, and yeah, they just tell you, like, they sort of be like, look, we're doing some, look how we're helping them, we're giving them a bunch of medication, and the medication is helping them, that's what's curing them. And yeah, they would sort of intimidate you, sort of threaten you into telling them that you're doing fine, you're so well. I'm just so glad I was kidnapped and brought here, because if you don't tell them that, they're just going to keep you in prison for longer. And then after they're done with that, they just keep you for however long, they just shove however many pills down your throat, they just go ahead and release you with a bill you have to pay, and that is a fine for having been kidnapped. That is fucking insane. But wasn't I reading this? Okay, this video is probably gonna be very long. Yeah, nearly every movie glorified drugs. LOL. True. Yeah. Yeah, you were punished for having the audacity to mind your own business at the age of 18. That is true. Uh, yeah, they legit had fake fucking sodas. Like, they kid so little. Like, no, they wouldn't give you water. They'd give you sodas. But they wouldn't even give you the real soda. They'd give you, like, some fucking authentic version of it that would just cost less. Like, they would just, like, they kid so little. They would do the bare minimum for their patients. Like, you want some water? Yeah, just open the faucet, just get some water and pour some of that. The water looked, I'm not even gonna comment on that, to be honest. Looked fucking, yeah, you can fill in the blank, dude. Let me see. What else was there here? Okay, let's go on to the next one. By the way, did I really read all that? Yeah, yeah, they'd run out of everything all the time. Usually they would run out of rations. Oh yeah, I guess you can't, no, usually actually they didn't run out of rations too often. But you run out of toilet paper. Who knows? Like, the place was just a shithole. They didn't put any effort into maintaining it or making it look nice. As I said, nicotine patches, just like graffiti on the fucking like sides of the merchandise trains. It was that bad. The water wouldn't really work a lot of the time. There was no privacy. There was no door to the bathroom. Literally no door. Yeah, like the the place looked like shit. No hot water. Just yeah, absolute fucking garbage. Yeah, apparently not going to the group though. Yeah, I sorta talked about that. Yeah, they specifically targeted the disabled. And that is something that really gets to me because, yeah, isn't this place supposed to be a place to help people who aren't doing well and, like, I don't know, take care of their concerns? Well, the people who are the most disabled, they would be the most mistreated by the staff by far. They would get beaten to the ground by staff. They would get yelled at, insulted, dehumanized. It was awful. Like, yeah, there would be this lady who had schizophrenia who was, yeah, she would usually be fucking hitting on me. That was funny. But yeah, like, whenever she would just sort of have a panic attack or something like that, she would just, I don't know, usually the staff didn't like her because she was too noisy, so they'd sort of try to be assholes to her on purpose. Oh, you didn't get your hey, can I get my food? You didn't give me that. Bitch, shut the fuck up. You're ugly, you have no teeth. You should go take a shower. You smell like shit, you fucking, like, yeah, that's how you treat people who you're supposed to be trying to help. The obvious lesson to pull from this, and it's very sad that this is the case, they are responsible for the fact that you can't really tell people to go get help if they're suicidal. Not when this happens. Not when, if you go ahead and do that, the consequences of that, well, you saw it back in high school when I had problems. I tried to reach out to somebody else, but unfortunately it got into the wrong hands. Yeah, it got leaked, and whether or not I would get locked up and be taken away from the god of my mother and get to keep living my life or not was on the line. And my privacy was incredibly just tarnished. A lot of these things. So the clear message from that is if you're suicidal, you damn better keep that to yourself or we'll hurt you. We will make you go financially bankrupt. We will kidnap you, put you in a prison, and then you'll have to pay for it. That is the message. And just so you know, we should make it clear that that's their message. This is what they do to people. Let's go ahead and keep reading this. Dude, the staff's insults that they would throw at, like, usually people with schizophrenia, I don't know why there's so many of those in there, but usually it wouldn't even be fucking good. It's like, dude, I have to mention this because I'm fucking retarded, dude. It's like, your staff of a fucking, rehab place where people were fucking kidnapped and forced to go over there. So you imagine you sort of would need to do everything you can to regain their trust, right? So, like, you're being that super fucking MLG guy. Yeah, bitch, I kidnapped you. I fucking, guess what? Now I'm not even gonna treat you well. You'd imagine at least they'd have the decency to come up with good insults to throw at the mentally disabled. Your mom was literally an insult that the staff would use a lot of the. They'd be like, your mom's a bitch. The fuck? Like, are you mentally disabled? Should you be kidnapped and brought into the facility, put into the orange fucking paper, like, prison suits that we were forced to wear? Maybe you should be here. I don't know. That type of insult. The fuck? You know, let me take another shot before I keep going on this. Um, yeah, I honestly feel bad for him. Wait, dude, my bad. Fucking out. Yeah, I feel bad for some of the people who were the roommates of usually the people who were just abused by the staff, because usually these people they would freak out in their rooms and their roommates wouldn't be able to sleep. Now, thank God, the only roommate I ever had, yeah, he was gone, like, I don't know, for the first, like, week, I guess, he was there, then, like, for the rest, I stayed there, like, 10 days, I don't know, maybe, like, 4 or 5 days he wasn't there, but, like, thank God that was my roommate, because, yeah, he was a very nice guy. He was just normal. He actually paid to come over here, and immediately the first thing he said was, "Wow, what the fuck? What did I pay for? I want out of here now, as soon as possible, right now, this very second." Like, he was miserable, having to stay in there for, like, an extra 4 to 5 days. He felt trapped, just like the rest of us, obviously. What else is in here? Yeah, it was so stupid. They legit gave fucking people with diabetes, like, stuff like rice, and I didn't know that was a thing they were supposed to avoid, but yeah, they didn't care. If people had allergies, they would just give them food that they were allergic to anyway, and, like, if they got an allergic reaction, I've never seen that happen, but they would probably have told them, "Bitch, shut the fuck up." That would probably. I'm just taking a guess right there, but holy shit, this list is pretty long, and I'm just looking at the main ones. I'm avoiding most of these. What else? Yeah, they wouldn't stop fucking fighting. That's dude, legit. I have never gone to any school, been in any class. I've never seen a climate where people would fight more than that. And it's like, way to fucking help people who supposedly, like, in distress, maybe potentially suicidal. Way to fucking cheer them up, dude. Just put them in a place where constantly they have to hear like, yeah, like, by the end, when my roommate left, I would just stare out the window for hours. Like, I would wake up, I would go to the window and just stare outside just all day. And yeah, you just have to hear these people just getting beaten to shit for fighting amongst one another. Like, it was a joke. It was a fucking joke. Worst fucking prison I've ever fucking gone to, and it's the only prison actually. It's called Oceans. That place should be abolished. Like, dude, before I finish this list, let me just go ahead and say what I would do if I was the president. I would, well, obviously make it illegal for these people to kidnap you, but in case I couldn't make it illegal, I would just announce that I'm giving a presidential pardon to anybody who commits self-defense against these predators, against these kidnappers, because if you can't make kidnapping illegal, at least find some loophole to be able to make it legal for you to defend yourself against these predators, because they are predators, they are kidnappers. Like, you should be allowed to fight back. Like, these people shouldn't be allowed to tell you, "Yeah, I'm bringing you here, yeah, like, I don't care what you want. You're like, yeah, you're 18 or above. We get it. Don't care. No, you're not a free citizen. I know you thought that. I know you thought you lived in the United States and that type of stuff wouldn't happen over here. But you're wrong. And in fact, yeah, you're going to come over here right now, or we're going to just wrestle you." These people are kidnappers, and you should get to defend yourself against them. Now, obviously, I don't know. I am very different than how I, like, say you should act. Like, I think it's perfectly fine if someone hits you to hit them back, but then, like, if anybody ever hits me, my reaction is just staring at them, like, "Why on earth did you hit me? Why did you do that? What did I do to you? Why are you so mad at me?" And, like, yeah, obviously, I feel like I would never be able to kill anyone, ever. Like, I just feel like that's, unfortunately, like, one of these flaws that I have. I would never be able to kill anyone, maybe not even in self-defense, but I definitely think people should be allowed to do that, and especially in a situation like that, because these people, they're gonna kidnap you, and they aren't gonna make you get better. Let me just make that clear, they will not make you get better. I spoke to some of the staff over there, by the way, like that person who was riding the bus, like the person who drove the bus who brought me back home after I, like, when I was getting out of that prison, like, that person actually told me, yeah, I actually have worked at a bunch of these facilities, and most of them, they are a lot worse. Let me tell you, most of them, they mistreat, especially the disabled, a lot more. This stuff works a lot less. You know how they don't even have hot water over here? They just have cold water. The place looks like cancer. There's just nicotine patches all over the place. Yeah, like, you think, you being in a rehab that, like, all there is to do is watch movies that over glorify drugs. Do you think that's bad? You think the fighting over there is bad? I've worked in places that are a lot worse, and let me tell you, most places are a lot worse. So that's what, that person told me, and actually 3 or 4 staff members, um, I mean, yeah, 2 or 3, and like 3 or 4 will include that bus driver, but like, yeah, they all told me, dude, you think this is bad? Like, most of the places are a lot fucking worse. And again, I have made a lot of friends. Apparently, over there, you're not supposed to be giving one another, you're like exchanging information such as like phone numbers and such. And I can definitely understand why they have that policy. Imagine if you were allowed to discuss what happened over there, get witnesses. Well, of course, I have most of these people's phone numbers, who I kept in contact with, and I have like 4 or 5 fucking people who will definitely tell you that everything I said is 100% fucking true. Um, they do that stuff to people, and it really shows you, if someone is suicidal, and it really hurts me, because if I, like, I've met a lot of people, I've actually lost a lot of people who I couldn't help, who were in such situations where, like, they were just suicidal. But the thing is, you can't tell them to go get help. They know probably that you can't tell them to go get help, because this is what the help is. Do you think you'd be more or less suicidal after you leave that place? Obviously, the first thing I did once I got back was to binge my fucking drugs, because I didn't wanna, like, I was just fucking so tired of being over there, and that was, yeah, so they didn't do a good job at what they were supposed to be doing. It's honestly a joke. Let me, see what else. Yeah, water from the sink. It was pretty much like a third world country over there. Rations, like, water from the sink. A lot of the time, the water wouldn't even fucking work properly. Um, uh, yeah, they would just clap at patients to fucking call them. It was AIDS. Yeah, I think I covered pretty much everything. So, yeah, that was the time I went to prison. I think that place is absolutely horrible, and I don't think anyone should ever be kidnapped and brought to prison for that reason. I don't think that needing help or being suicidal is a valid reason to imprison someone. I don't think is a valid reason to give them a fine. I don't think any of these people, I don't think it's ever fine to kidnap any of these people, and I think it should be known that these places do not try to help you. They will not help you. They will tell you that they will do that, then they will intimidate you into giving the testimony that you were helped by them, because if you don't say that, they will keep you there longer. And once you get out, you just have a fine to pay, which, yeah, just that fucking burden on your shoulders. I'm sure that's gonna do a lot of good for your mental health. But the lesson to pull from this is, sadly, you should absolutely never, under any circumstance, tell someone who is suicidal to go get help. This is the help they will get. Do you want them to kill themselves? Like, do you want that to happen? And it's like, you should definitely not be put in such a situation if you have someone who, like, you could tell needs help. You should definitely get to tell them, hey, look, buddy, let me refer you to some help. But unfortunately, you can't do that. And until that is changed, I'm gonna have to keep telling people, no, if you're suicidal, the last thing you should be doing is to ask for help. This is what they will do to you. This is what they will do to you if you need help and you actually go ahead and confess that. They are not trying to help you. They do not want to help you. And yeah, I think the right way to approach this, these places should absolutely be abolished. Places like oceans, they are prisons, and they legit torture mentally disabled people. Like, they are horrible, just horrible, horrible places. They should not be allowed to be there. I think we should have the army to go ahead and liberate these places. And if if somehow doing that legally fails, I think the president should definitely, if I were president, I mean, yeah, like, I would just issue an I would just announce that I'm giving a presidential pardon. Don't care if I have to print them in the fucking mounds. Anybody who commits the heinous act of self-defense against the predators who are going to kidnap them, I would give them a presidential pardon, and that's how I would fix it. But yeah, if you're suicidal, I think one of the biggest threats you have to worry about are those who are claiming and lying about wanting to help you. If someone says they want to help you, usually they won't, and you can see that. In fact, when I got hit by a car, that accident I had, actually, like, just that very day, I was sort of having a mental breakdown, and I wasn't doing well, and I was looking up to people. I had sort of, I was drunk again that time when I got hit by the car, and like, I remember before then, I'd sort of opened up to some people, sort of put my trust into them, and like, told them about everything that had happened to me, and like how I just wasn't doing well, and I was asking them for help, and they got in a call with me and talked to me for like an hour or so. And they all really seemed to care about me and to want me to do better. But then when I left the call about an hour after I had gotten hit by a car, and when I messaged them, like, explaining what had happened to me, they all started ghosting me. None of them cared. Like, it's usually people are like, and it's not by intention. People are good people. Obviously, they aren't trying to do that. But usually, if you're not doing well, like, it's not gonna be a matter of a day to get you to get better. And when you tell people, yeah, I have depression, I'm not doing well, maybe I'm suicidal even, things aren't going well for me, they will tend to be sympathetic to you at first, keyword at first, but within a very, very short amount of time, they'll just diverge that dude, this is sort of boring. We're sort of getting tired of you not going well. This happened with my mother. This happened with everybody around me. Yeah, once they get tired of hearing that you're not going well and that you're not getting better, they abandon you and start demonizing you for not getting better. Or punishing you for not getting better, which is what happened here, which is the story I'm telling y'all today about how I went to prison. And hopefully this can help some people avoid going to prison. Hopefully it can have something like that, and hopefully it can also give me subs because, well, to be honest, yeah, I'm sort of a fucking view whore, dude, you know? Bro, I've been drinking too much. Yeah, let me, thank you so much for 100 subs. Whenever that might happen. Because, you know, this video's been pre-recorded. Dude, I